it's obviously a very exciting time in the payments processing space. Tell me a little bit about M2P Solutions and what pain points you're solving for within the ecosystem.
Sure. I think we started out, I used to run products at Visa before starting this company. Two of us co-founders were colleagues at Visa. Over coffee conversations, we realized that there's more to do sitting outside the company than in that. So we sort of ventured out and said there's a different way to doing things. The genesis of a company stems from the fact that India is a very vibrant retail payment market. For the last 7 to 8 years, you have technology that has developed in India, which is way ahead of many of the developed markets also, right? But what we realized was that tech that is available for common people doesn't necessarily percolate down to the corporate or the business side of the payment system, right? So there's always a lag of 5 to 7 years when whatever happens in retail payments, corporate business takes about 5 years for them to adopt, right? And even now you'll find that corporate credit cards are not as fanciful as what you'll find in a retail sort of offering. So we realized that there's this gap that is there from a payment technology standpoint, as well as the fact that when businesses want to roll out payment solution, they're looking to do more customized sort of requirements, where you have a lot of changes that will come to them in terms of how do I make sure that a particular payment product works within my workflow if I were a corporate, right? So thereby, whatever banks builds do not necessarily lend itself to the corporate. So that's the gap that we are trying to sort of fill in, where we are providing APIs for companies to adopt payment systems efficiently.
So you touched on a little bit, but what trends have you excited right now within the payments processing space?
Yeah, so there are 2 or 3 distinct tracks that we see evolving. One is around the lending side. You see heightened action in terms of how companies are lending to people in India, where India as a market is sub 30 million in terms of credit card penetration, while the upside is in the multiples of 20 or 30, right? And banks don't want to sort of get into that, stray into that segment. There are a lot of fintechs that have come in and said, let me solve for this differently, right? So in our portfolio today, there are 30 different lenders who are lending to different companies. It ranges from SMEs to students to segments that we would normally not sort of notice or get to hear simply because they're working in that kind of a niche segment. So that's the breadth of lending is one large segment that we are working very, very closely. We are also working on a logistics as a space, in a very differentiated manner, because there's a lot of macro factors that are helping us to capture some of the payment flows that are there. A market like India, which is very large, you have a lot of traffic that moves across the country, but the payment layer on top of that is all in cash, for a variety of reasons. Now there is this adoption of digital payments, digital tolling. So we're trying to bring all of that together into a common sort of platform for companies. These are the 2 large segments that we are working on.
And one of the most difficult things, especially for a fintech startup, is remaining profitable. So how have you done it?
Yeah, so this is it's a oxymoron of sorts in terms of saying that we don't claim profitability yet because people look down at you. How can you be profitable? But I think the fundamental premise and the first principle with which we started the company was that in any transactional business, you have to be making money at a transaction unit level, right? So if you don't make money today, how is it that that business line is going to change and you'll see that money at a later point in time? So intrinsically, we believe that if you're able to drive it in a manner where you just bite what you can chew is the approach that we have taken. And we've remained very, very frugal. So I used to live in Bombay. I had to cut down on the lifestyle to sort of move back to Chennai and run it. But it has worked for us because we are able to assemble a team and remain frugal. And my advice to fintech entrepreneurs whenever we meet and they probe this question is to sort of see how much can you push that envelope without having that money. Or we started out saying we will be an unfundable business. How do we sort of remain afloat when we are an unfundable business, right? So that has kept us going. Even today, if an VC sort of comes in and asks, we basically say, well, we can be friends, we can exchange notes, but we really don't see why we should actually go down the path of fundraising, because we've handled that difficult path in the last 3-4 years.
Well, great. Well, congratulations on your continued success, and thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
From Medici Studio, I'm Shannon Rossick.